Thank you, Chairman. A point and then a question. The Chairman, in his remarks about the blue slip, said that it was not codified as a rule, that it's not in any statute, that it's not in the Constitution, and that it's just a custom. There's something else that shares those exact characteristics, which is the association of circuit court seats with specific states. The fact that you claim Utah seats on the 10th Circuit, the fact that Rhode Island claims Rhode Island seats on the First Circuit is equally not codified in any rule, not found in any statute, and clearly not in the Constitution. There's only one thing that protects the Senate in the ability to continue that tradition of the association of circuit court seats with certain states. And that's the blue slip. A president without a blue slip and without this body honoring the blue slip and honoring that tradition could readily appoint a Rhode Islander to the Utah seat on the 10th Circuit, or a Utah judge to the Rhode Island seat on the First Circuit. My worry is that in our rush to push nominees of a particular ideology and background through, we have broken down this barrier without thinking through what else gets let loose with that barrier gone. The blue slip has been a healthy restriction on executive power. It has helped make sure that the local states in a particular circuit have their voices heard about the nominees, and it has been a converging force for bipartisanship. Not in every case, when there are two senators of the same party and they want to have a candidate of their party who is associated with their ideology, that get to go ahead and do that. But in a lot of cases, particularly where there is a split delegation, it has been a powerful force to narrow the bench into the traditional mainstream. So I think we are creating real hazards for the future for ourselves, that the immediate rush in these nominees under this circumstance of a Republican president and a Republican majority and a broken filibuster is creating perilous precedents for the future. I'm also concerned that the failure to honor any kind of a blue slip undercuts the commissions that many senators have put together to do the preliminary reviews of candidates and make recommendations. Jack Reed and I do it ourselves in Rhode Island. We've got a pretty informal process. We're a small state. We don't have to worry about it. But you get to bigger states like New Jersey and California and New York, and you really are assisted by a process that helps sort through the candidates, and where you have senators from both parties, you're really assisted by having that group help sort through so that you can reach a better bipartisan consensus on the nominees. I don't know why anybody would want to participate in such a nominating commission process if at the end of the day, the White House is just going to say, sorry, everybody, tough bounce. We now own circuit court appointees, and we're going to put whoever we want into these circuit court appointees, irrespective of process and irrespective of state affiliation. This is an all-executive thing now. You fellas in the Senate, you just run along. I'm afraid that's where we're at, and if that's not where we're at, it's sure as heck where we're headed. So the question that I wanted to ask the nominees, and maybe we can get a written answer since my time is running out, has to do with my concern about fact-finding being done at the appellate level. I think you'd both concede that fact-finding is, as a general proposition, not an appropriate task for appellate judges to undertake. Simple yes or no on that.
Yes.
Yes, pretty obvious. We all agree on that. But then you look at decisions like Shelby County, in which the Supreme Court did a lot of fact-finding. And it turned out wildly erroneous fact-finding. but fact-finding that just happened to line them up with a decision outcome that was clearly desired by one party versus another. And I think that leaves a big hole in jurisprudence once you get appellate judges starting to engage in spontaneous and erroneous fact-finding that just happens to align with an outcome. The only case that was worse than that was Citizens United, where the fact-finding involved the independence of the spending that would result and the transparency of the spending that would result, both of which have been preposterously exploded as factual findings by the actual results that have taken place since then. So I would close, since my time has expired, with a question for the record to each of you to express your views on when there is an appropriate role for fact-finding by appellate courts and appellate judges. Thank you, Chairman.